have this old dollar, and I'll trade it to you for your 2 pennies. And then you can get your mom a gift. How about it? Want to trade me?" Jerry blinked his eyes and looked first at the pennies. Then his eyes grew round as he gazed at the bright silver dollar. "Ben, you mean it? You'll trade me?" "Of course." And Ben handed him the shiny dollar and put the 2 pennies in his pocket with the rest of the money he had left. Ben was drawing close to Eden Church. He stopped once to listen. He was sure he heard a small cry. Oh, there it was again. He parted the bushes beside the walk. There lay a little white dog, bleeding in his eyes, holding up his foot. Ben examined him, and then he lifted him gently. Carefully, Ben carried him until he came to the house where Dr. Walker, the veterinarian, lived. It seemed ages passed before the kindly young doctor opened the door. When he saw Ben, he said, "Well, well, it's Ben with the sick friend. Come on in and we'll have a look." Ben looked up at the doctor while he examined the little dog. "Doctor, will it cost an awful lot to fix him up?" "Well, no, Ben, about $2, I guess. But then he hasn't a license, so that will be 50 cents extra." Ben laid the last of his money, except the 2 pennies, on the doctor's desk. "I'll be back for him after church," he said. He felt the 2 copper cents warm against his fingers. It wasn't much of a gift. Hardly anything at all. As he approached the churchyard, he could hear the old organ and the choir in the anthem of praise. He was late and he hurried on. And the path at his feet was a little bird, a robin, with a broken wing. Ben couldn't leave him there to the mercy of a prowling cat, so he scooped him up and put him under his coat. His fingers found only 1 penny in his pocket. With a sinking heart, he knew he had lost the other one when he had stooped over to pick up the bird. It was too late to look for it now. The hymn of thanksgiving had begun. He hurried forward and quietly took his place in the line of people bearing their gifts of the harvest to the altar. His hand, holding a single penny, had become moist and hot. At last his turn at the altar came, and Ben carefully placed the penny down close, beside a great sheaf of golden flowers, hidden carefully out of sight. Slowly, he went back to his place at the back of the church. The music stopped and everyone waited with breath and drum, while the sexton slowly made his way down the aisle and grasped the rough belt in his ringed old hand. He gave a mighty pull, and slowly and softly at first, the silver-throated bells began to ring, and then louder and louder until they echoed and re-echoed up and down the whole of Eden Valley. Everyone raised their voices in a joyous hymn of praise. No one knew who had been great and good enough to ring the bells. It was only important that once more they rang out their message of peace and goodwill to all men, never knowing that, perhaps, his unselfishness and kindness had caused the melodious ringing of the bells. A little dark-haired boy bowed his head and softly breathed a prayer of thanksgiving.
Society. Women forced to live out their lives in a world of shame and degradation. There are women like these working in every city in America. Women Behind Us. Women Behind Us by Joan Silver. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't stand to look at another employee benefit. We're busting out at coffee break. We're busting out at coffee break. That's it, Carol. You know where you're going. You, take her out of here. The rest of you, back to work. Unless you also want to get tossed in the typing pool. I'm getting you a new coworker, Rose. Her name's Sally. Show her the road. You, the new employee. Here's your cubicle. Lock yourself in. start churning out those sales projections. I'd better see them done when I get back, or it's big trouble. But I attended Harvard Business School. Bunch of calculator, I mean now. But I don't belong in this kind of job. I don't. Harvard. Don't make it hard on yourself, kid. You remind me of myself when I first came here to Big House and Slammer Incorporated. That was about 30 years ago. They've kept you in this department for 30 years? You got it, sister. I thought I'd be promoted out of it. Progress? Sure. We got jobs. But you know how it is for women in business. Middle management prison. Oh, maybe in your day, but it's different now. I'm not like the rest of you. I attended Harvard Business School. I did graduate from Harvard. Oh, Harvard. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. Wise up, honey. You're only asking for middle management work in trouble. Oh, Vernette's coming. Hit your spreadsheet. Please stay tuned after this commercial. Buenas tardes, chicas y chicos. Yo soy Juanita Craig, and I would like to tell you all about Juanita Craig's weight loss centers, featuring the all-new authentic Mexican diet. But first, let me tell you what I ate when I came to this beautiful country. I gained about 100 pounds. Chicas, I used to get up every morning and have a nice big plate of churros, a big cup of Mexican chocolate, 5 or 6 flour tortillas, and a hosty snowball for dessert. For the dinner, I go down to the Taco Bell and put away chili relleno, toasted combaciones, asadora, rice, and guacamole, and a Pop-Tart for dessert. For a snack, I just have a big bag of Doritos, a Coke, and a pint of Haagen-Dazs. And chicas, I was getting fat. So I went down to this mini mall in Hollywood, and I saw this gringa diet goddess, whose initials are lots like mine. And she gave me this diet which cost $464, ordered for it in the positive thinking tape. Then I starved to death and became this beautiful viejita you see in front of you. I got to be so positive, I got to be thinking, you know, I could be a diet goddess. So after a whole lot of research, I came up with a diet that I know works, because it's exactly what I ate in Mexico before I got fat. Okay, for the breakfast you get hueves mexicanos. This is an egg from a real chicken. That egg been shot up with gringo hormones. You also get a tortilla. For dinner, some frijoles and tortilla. That's it. That's all you got to do. Oh, Juanita's cuisine also recommends a Catholic church. You're going to be going to church, you'll feel so guilty, you won't even want to eat anymore. That's it. That's all you got to do. Come into one of our conveniently located centers in the bar near you. Or call 1-800-WANITA. Get out there now, and do it. Now back to one behind us. Hello, ladies. Guess where I'm going? I'm going to a big, hot, sweaty management meeting. I'm going to sit with the chief executive officer and his staff. I'm going to sit in the panel boardroom and lean back in my chair. I'm going to even interrupt somebody if I feel like it. Wish I could ask you two to come along. Get over it, Burnett. They respect the copyrighter's views just as much as yours. Climate Rose, when I want your opinion, I'll dictate it to you. Face it, Burnett, you're just the broad in the boardroom, the token tootsie. I think I have some reports I need copied, Rose. No, Burnett, no! I think you're going to have to take me to the coffee room, Rose. No, you know what that place does to me, please. All right, but don't you mouth off like that again. I got a stack of Blue Cross claims just itching for a Xerox. Now, where are those sales projections I wanted for this meeting? I haven't got them. What? What's that you're so busy with? Job applications? They're not mine. They're Rose's. They're hers, I swear. Why, you lying little... Break it up, you two. That's enough. Look, Missy, you're a smart girl. I did graduate from Harvard. Watch it, kid. She's sly. Don't listen to her. She's old and bitter. But you could be something. How about you and I work together? You wanted a private office, you can have it. And how about a promotion? How about corporate level decision making? We can't have it all at once, can we? Disney wasn't built in one day. Well, I guess I'll try it. Watch it, kid. I hear the automatic sorter's broken, Rose. That's better. Freeze, Burnett! Carol, where'd you get that gun? Are you crazy? I made it for Burnett. Week after week in the tap and pull out of paper clips and posters. I want you to be my the Lowell meeting.
Okay.
I'm the one with the MBA. Will you help us get out of here? Will Sally forget the others on her harsh and bitter climb up corporate ladder? Or will she break the chains that keep her coworkers in bondage? For the rest, keep watching Women Behind Desk.
Pride has many ways of showing itself. Sometimes we don't discover that something is precious to us until it is too late. Our self-centered pride makes no room for anyone but ourselves. In The Scarlet Ibis by James Hurst, such is the case with Doodle's sister, and she is too proud to accept a handicapped member into her inner circle. The Scarlet Ibis by James Hurst. Summer was dead, but autumn had not yet been born when the ibis lit in the bleeding tree. The last graveyard flowers were blooming, and their smell drifted through our house, speaking softly the names of our dead. It's strange that all this is so clear to me, now that summer has long since fled. A grindstone stands where the bleeding tree stood, and sometimes, as I sit in the cool parlor, the grindstone begins to turn, and I remember Doodle. Doodle was just about the craziest brother a girl ever had. He was born when I was 6, and from the outside, a disappointment. He seemed all head, with a tiny body which was red and shriveled like an old man's. Everybody thought he was going to die, but he didn't die. And when he was 3 months old, Mama and Daddy decided they might as well name him. They named him William Armstrong. I wanted a brother, but Mama, crying, told me that even if William Armstrong lived, he could never do things with me. He might not be all there. It was bad enough having an invalid brother, but having one who was possibly not all there was unbearable. However, one afternoon as I watched him, he looked straight at me and grinned. I skipped down the echoing halls, shouting, "Mama, he smiled! He's all there!" When he finally learned to crawl, he always crawled backwards, just like a doodlebug. So I began to call him Doodle. And I guess renaming my brother was the kindest thing I ever did for him, because nobody expects much from someone called Doodle. Although Doodle learned to crawl, he showed no signs of walking. When Doodle was 5 years old, I was embarrassed at having a brother at that age who couldn't walk. So I set out to teach him. Every day that summer, we went to Old Woman's Swamp, and I put him on his feet at least 100 times. Finally, after many weeks of practicing, he stood alone for a few seconds. When he fell, I grabbed him into my arms and hugged him, our laughter pealing through the swamp like a ringing bell. Now we knew it could be done. Once I had succeeded in teaching Doodle to walk, I began to believe in my own power. I taught Doodle to climb trees, to swim, and to row boats. And whenever we went anywhere together, I walked fast and made him keep up. So we came to that clove of seasons. It was a hot, sultry day, and Daddy, Mama, Doodle, and I were seated at the dining room table having lunch. Suddenly, from out in the yard, came a strange croaking noise. Rushing out to the bleeding tree, we saw on the topmost branch a bird, with scarlet feathers and long legs, perched precariously. Its wings hung loosely. The bird began to flutter, and amid much flapping and spray of feathers, it tumbled down, landing at our feet with a thud. Its long, graceful neck jerked twice into an S, and straightened out. Bird was still. "It's dead," said Mom. "It's a scarlet ibis. Storm must have brought it here. Let's finish lunch," she said. "I'm not hungry," said Doodle, and he knelt down beside the ibis. "I'm going to bury him." Daddy, Mama, and I watched Doodle through the open door as he buried the bird in the flower garden. Later that day, Doodle and I hurried off to Horseshoe Landing, got into a skiff, and floated down the creek with the tide. After we drifted a long way,